Hey guys, back with another action figure review, and this time we're going to take a look at the Marvel Legends Infinite Series Avenging Allies Sentry from the All-Father wave, or the Odin/King Thor wave. I figured since I did Machine Man last review, I'd do his fellow Avenging Ally, Marvel's Sentry, next. So, this is the third, I think, Sentry that Marvel Legends has given us. First from Hasbro, the first one from Hasbro. All the previous ones were in Toy Biz, I believe. You had like the short-haired one and the long-haired with the beard and stuff, and he looked really lumpy and bright yellow. So I never picked one of those up. This is the Sentry that I remember reading in my first big Marvel event that I ever read, Civil War. One of the first like big comics I ever read too. Funnily enough, I don't even really remember why I read that in particular, but I enjoyed it, and he was in it, and that's what he looked like. And so when this figure was coming out, I was like, hey, that's the Sentry that I recognize. Like, I want to get that one. So anyway, get into the package, and we'll get onto this. So. Same package if you watched my previous review, Avenging Allies, Marvel Legends Infinite Series. You got Machine Man on one side and Sentry on the other. You have both of them on the back there. It's funny, a little note here, I don't know if you can't see that, I don't think, let me pull that in. The Sentry figure right here, you can see the peg holes in the shoulder. I know Stu Murray 47 would call them leg nipples if they were in the hips, so I guess they're shoulder nipples. And they look really weird. Fortunately, the final figure does not have them, so that's really cool. As I was saying, the figures are there. You got the wave, you've got all the figures in the wave, and the Build-A-Figure. So, there you go. I'll bring him back in here. And here we have Sentry. So, yeah, I think this figure is really nice, and it's been a long time coming from Marvel, from Hasbro, because he was supposed to come out back in, like, the Return of Marvel Legends. I don't know if he ever had a wave that he was supposed to come out. Oh, no, he was supposed to be a running change, I think, for someone. Oh, Hyperion, that's right. Whoop! Blanked there, sorry. Yes, he was supposed to be running change for Hyperion, which never ever happened. And he was on that list of figures that never were, and now here he is. So I'm really proud of, I mean, can I be proud of them? I'm really, happy that Hasbro is kind of going back and making sure that they are filling in these holes that they promised, and, giving us basically what we're asking for. I mean, to a degree, like, they obviously, we want these figures that they said they were going to give us and never did. So I'm going to stop rambling and review the figure now. So what I find interesting off the bat with this figure is his cape. So I'm just going to go kind of straight to that. As you can see, from the front, if you look straight at his shoulders, you can't even see that he has a cape. I mean, this is painted, but, like, usually you see something draped over the shoulders, or, coming from around the neck. This is such an interesting approach to the cape, I think, and, I was gonna say, I don't have Hyperion, so I don't know if he did the same thing, but no, I remember Hyperion has a little thing that goes over the shoulder, so this must be the first one that has the cape like this, and it's bizarre to me. I kind of like it because it doesn't limit anything in, like, the head or the shoulders as far as articulation goes, and it doesn't look bad. I mean, the paint, they try to match it with, on camera, it looks pretty decent. In person, this looks a little bit, like, more saturated, a little brighter than this paint does. This paint looks a little greener, too, maybe. And the way that it lines up, depending how you pose it, but if you try to line it up exactly, this edge of the cape that there doesn't quite line up with the paint. If you press it in all the way, like, it comes out a little bit, and then the paint starts. So, anyway, but the worst part of it is, it's kind of loose. It doesn't really, and, I mean, I guess the benefit is you can kind of pose it, like, off to the side if you want, like, if you're trying to do, like, a little bit of, like, a wind-blown little thing. You could try to do that, but mine just kind of, if I try to, like, start moving him, it's really floppy and loose, and it starts to just come out of the hole. So if I were to just like jiggle this around a little bit longer, it falls out. So it's an interesting approach, but I'm not sure how much it's succeeding. And I'm not sure why he has 2 peg holes here. Is this something from Hyperion? Did Hyperion's cape peg into this hole? And Sentry's pegs into this one? Is this meant for like a flight stand? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure this would be the flight stand one, if anything. So I'm not quite sure what that's about. But the sculpt is pretty nice. It's a little harder for plastic, as they've been doing lately. And, you know, from the front it looks fine. But I am going to remove it for the rest of the view just because it gets loose and falls off. Anyway, the belt, I think, comes off back here. Yeah, it has a little notch. You can unhook it, and there you go. You now have a blank Hyperion slash Sentry slash bigger body buck if you want to do a customizing. But I'm going to put it back on. It's pretty cool. Nice big S. It looks as it should. Excuse me, dropped it on the floor. It looks like it does in the comics. So pop that back on there. And there you go. So now it looks a little more complete. The head sculpt looks a lot better than any of the previous ones in my opinion. I think he looks just the kind of right amount of like mad or like ready to fight someone. He's got the glowy white eyes. Long hair, but not like feminine looking or anything. It's kind of blowing in the wind there. Good shading in the hair. Just like a really like good, like angry, like masculine face. I like it. I think they did a good job with that. And then he has, now weirdly enough, he has one fist hand and one like open hand. He's got nothing to hold, so I don't know why they gave us this open hand at all. It should have been 2 fists, and a lot of people swap out this fist for a Hyperion fist and make him have 2 fists. Some people say they got one in package with 2 fists. I don't know if there's some kind of secret variant, as some people call it. I think it might have just been a fluke on some. But, you know, I obviously, I think he would have been better off with 2 fists, because he's just, you know, he's getting ready to, like, punch you in the face. I don't know what he's going to be holding. So, yeah. So, I mean, the rest of it's pretty straightforward. He's, just 2 colors. He's yellow, like a yellow, which looks good. It doesn't look, like, super bright and, like, garish like the old Sentry did, or at least one of the old Sentries. It's like a nice, golden yellow with some shading throughout. Looks nice. Some numbers stamped on there. That's ugly. And then the rest is just blue, like a navy, not quite navy, but nice, like, you know, greenish blue. Comes off not quite as green on my camera screen, but yeah, he's got that, you know, the belt, the boots, the gauntlets, and the cape. So that's about it as far as, like, looks go. This is one of my few figures I have on this mold, and, it's pretty decent. Like, I mean, look next to the Machine Man, and you can see how much like he like towers over him. So it definitely suits the character. You know, there's some things wrong with the mold as far as like anatomy goes, you could say. I know Anthony's Customs has mentioned this in some of his videos featuring this mold. He doesn't quite like it, but you know, I mean, I don't know. I personally I'm not, I mean, I'm not as educated in like this kind of musculature, so I don't know. It doesn't look like super off to me. I think it's fine, and you know, you can get them posed and I think it'll look okay. So, you know, I'm happy to have it. I think this, and again, I think, you know, whatever, I think it looks better than any previous Sentry, so there is that. So I'll go through the articulation. The head will go side to side. It will go forward pretty much all the way down. It won't go back as far, or at all, because of the hair. Even though it is, you can see on the disc in there. You got too much hair back here. And the way the neck, the back and the neck kind of goes up like this. This is really the biggest issue with this mold, is this whole like chest and neck area. It's kind of off. But the way that happens, you can't move this back, so that's that. But then the shoulders, you know, typical, they will go up pretty far actually. and then they'll go around and such. They have a bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. It doesn't look like you can move that oh no, you can. Okay, it can't go like all the way in because the bicep does get in the way. It's a bigger bicep for a bigger mold. And then you have a swivel and hinge at the wrist. You have a ab crunch that will go that far forward, and nice back. You have a twist at the waist. The belt tends to get in the way here. Mine just popped off as I was doing that. So you might need to kind of position that just so. I want to get it back on now, thank you. Okay, there we go. The legs will go out a little bit farther than the Bucky Cat mold, I think. Interestingly enough. Forward and not really back. You have a twist at the thigh, double jointed knee that gets about that far before the muscles start getting in the way. You have a twist at the boot, and then the ankles will go forward and back, and Hasbro rocker, boom. So, there you have it. Put this cape back in here now. Yeah, so I mean, like I said it about 100 times now, I think this is the best Sentry figure out there. 6-inch scale, so I definitely recommend it if you don't have a Sentry and are looking for one, or you know you have an old one and you're on the fence about whether this guy's worth the upgrade. Totally is. Yeah, or if you're putting together a Dark Avenger setup or something, or some kind of other Avengers team that you spin on, go for it. And yeah. So. This has been my review of the Marvel Legends Infinite Series All-Father Wave Avenging Allies Sentry. So I'll keep this wave going, and thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.